Good morning, everybody. My name's Hannah. I'm part of the team here at BCC. It's so great to see you all this morning. If you're an adult as well, but mainly thinking children, and you want to come and sit on the carpets at the front, coming down, get a front row seat, it's going to be good. So if anyone would like to come and sit on the carpets, you are more than welcome to get in the action there. Awesome. I was in one of the songs we sang earlier, there was a line that we thought was great for this morning. It was family joining together as one. That's what we're doing this morning. We're here joining together as one family and worshipping God, all ages together. So good. Now, before we get started, I've got a question for you all to chat with about the people next to you. And my question is, who are the women in your life that care? And we've heard from a few already, but I'd love for us to chat with people around you for 30 seconds. Who are the women in your life that care? Awesome. Okay, if I can encourage you to draw those conversations to a close. Now, I wonder who you said. I'm sure some of us will have said our biological mothers, the mums that gave birth to us and raised us. Maybe some of us said other members of our family, sisters, wives, aunties, grandmothers, so many different people. Maybe we said somebody in our church family, someone maybe that leads us in children's church or in Toast, or maybe helps out in Lifehouse. Maybe we said our teachers, people that teach us. Maybe we said doctors and nurses, people that care for us when we're not well. When we really start to think about it, there are probably a lot of women in our lives that care for us. And that is really what we want to celebrate this morning. Because, as we said, Mother's Day isn't necessarily an easy day for all of us. Perhaps some of us are grieving mothers. Perhaps we have a tricky relationship with our mums. Maybe we are longing for motherhood, or maybe we're scared for what motherhood entails. But this morning, we're not taking away that pain. We really want to recognize and celebrate the women that are in our lives who really care for us. And to do that, we are going to look at a story about 3 very brave and very faithful women who care for a little baby boy who you might know, a boy called Moses. Now, I'm going to need some help with telling the story. So, is there any children that would like to help me? I need 3 girls to play some of the characters. Yep. Would you like to be Moses' mum? Anyone else? Any other? Yep. Phoebe, would you like to play Pharaoh's daughter? Because that means George can then be Pharaoh. He can be the angry king. That's good. And would you like to play Moses' sister? Awesome. If you guys go over to Callie, she can get your costumes on. I also need somebody to play a crocodile. Excellent. And I need someone to play a fish. Are you happy to play a fish? Excellent. Cool. These are all important characters, the crocodile and the fish included. Now, while these guys are getting their costumes on, just a bit of context for this story. So the Israelites are currently in Egypt, and there's this guy in charge of Egypt, a guy called Pharaoh, who's going to kind of be played by George. George, your role is just to sit and look angry and sad and not be having a good time. Sorry, I haven't got a crown for you. You can just stand wherever, that's fine. So Pharaoh isn't happy. There is so many Israelites, and Pharaoh is scared of what they might do to Egypt. Can you look really scared? You're not scared. Oh, you're too cool for that. Okay, all right. Awesome. So Pharaoh thinks of this plan to try and get rid of some of the Israelites. His first plan is to put them into slavery and to work them so hard that they stop having more children. But this doesn't work. They keep multiplying. So Pharaoh moves on to plan B. Plan B is that he wants to try and kill in secret any of the Hebrew boys, the Israelite boys that are born. But that doesn't work either. So he moves on to plan C, which is pretty brutal. Plan C is Pharaoh orders that any Israelite boy should be killed, not in secret, but thrown into the river Nile. And this is where our story begins. This is from Exodus chapter 2, 1 to 11. I believe we've got the words coming up. So, can I position you? Pharaoh's mother, who's you? Pharaoh's mum. Excellent. If you want to come and stand over here. Pharaoh's sister, do you want to stand maybe like in the middle of the stage here? Pharaoh's daughter, go and sit in this little shiny pool that we've got over here. Should we go on the floor down there? Awesome. Yep, you're going to be having a little bath down there, so start washing, I don't know. And then our two lovely crocodile and fish, guys look amazing. If you want to just come and sit in the water here. By the way, this is the Nile, the River Nile. As you can see, it's got lots of reeds, lots of greenery, lots of flowing water. Awesome, this looks great. Okay, so Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 to 11. A man and a woman from the tribe of Levi got married. The woman became pregnant and gave birth to a son. I've got a baby here, not a real one, don't worry. Here we go. Pop him in the basket. This is your baby. Congratulations. Now Moses' mum saw that he was a special baby, and she kept him hidden for 3 months because she knew about this plan that Pharaoh had to kill all the baby boys. But when she could no longer hide him, she got a basket made of papyrus reeds and waterproofed it with tar and pitch, which is like this black sticky stuff. So Moses is just random baby, doesn't have a name yet, is in the basket. She put the baby in the basket and laid it among the reeds of the bank of the Nile. So we put it down. Excellent, well done. The baby's sister stood at a distance, watching to see what would happen to them. So make sure you're watching nice and closely. And then the basket went down the river. So with our crocodile and fish, it is a crocodile. It looks a bit like a dinosaur, but I promise it's a crocodile. If you want to take the basket and float it down the river, amazing. Woo! Baby's floating down this crocodile-infested river. It's scary, isn't it? Very scary. And it lands up at this place near where Pharaoh's daughter is bathing. So soon Pharaoh's daughter came down to bathe in the river, and her attendants walked along the riverbank. When the princess saw the basket among the reeds, she sent her maid to get it for her. When the princess opened it, she saw the baby. Can you look shocked for me? Pharaoh's daughter, Phoebe? Yeah. Very shocked, yeah. The little baby boy was crying, and she felt sorry for him. Can you look sorry for him? That's amazing. This must be one of the Hebrew children, she said. Then the baby's sister approached the princess. Pharaoh's sister, do you want to walk over towards our princess who's bathing there? Should I go and find one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you? She asked. And the princess replied, yes, please do. So the girl went and got the baby's mother. She's got to go and get your mother. Oh, back this way. Come and grab your mother, and then go back to Pharaoh's daughter, the princess. The princess told the baby's mother, take this baby and nurse him for me. I will pay you for your help. So the woman took the baby home. Could someone give the baby back to Pharaoh's mother? Not Pharaoh's mother. That was a whole other character. Moses' mother. Awesome. And she took the baby home and nursed him. And then later, when the boy was a bit older, his mother brought him back to Pharaoh's daughter, to this princess. And the princess named him Moses. For she explained, I lifted him out of the water. So can you give the baby back to Pharaoh's daughter? Pharaoh's daughter adopts him as her own son. Amazing. Round of applause for our wonderful actresses and actors. You guys have done an amazing job. Fabulous. Amazing. Now, what an amazing story of God being at work in the lives of not just one, but 3 women who love and care for Moses. Moses is born into a pretty bad situation, isn't he? He's born into a powerful nation, but it's a nation which doesn't like the type of people that Moses is. So much so that Pharaoh wanted these boys to die. But Moses' mum, who we later learn is called, we're going for Jochebed. We think that's the Hebrew, not Jochebed. I don't know. Moses' mum, who we later learn is called Jochebed, loves her son so much, and she doesn't want to give him up, so she hides him when he's first born. But when he gets too big and too noisy to hide, I mean, babies are noisy sometimes, aren't they? When he gets too big and too noisy to hide him any longer, she comes up with a plan. It's a plan with risks, but risks that might just work. She puts Moses in a basket and floats him down the river. Now, this story reminds me a bit of a film. So, hands up if you've ever watched any of the Toy Story movies. Excellent, I'm glad to see it. Great movies, so good. We're going to watch a scene from Toy Story 3 when Andy is going away to university and he's clearing out a bunch of his old toys. So we're just going to watch a short clip of that now. What a sweet film. Love it, isn't it good? Now, Andy absolutely loved Woody. He was his favourite childhood toy. You know, they even said, like, they were best friends. You know, best friends with a little cowboy. By the way, cowboy is Woody. And you can see that giving Woody away for Andy was a really difficult decision. He takes a bit of a risk by giving away a toy to someone that he doesn't really know. But he trusts, there's a lot of trust that someone is going to take good care of Woody. And I wonder, can you see the similarities with the Toy Story clip and with our story today? Jochebed takes this big risk when she gives away her baby. You know, she's putting Moses into this probably crocodile-infested river in a place where if he was found by the wrong person, would probably be killed. But she loved her son, and she wanted the best for him. If there was a chance that her son might live, she was going to take it and take the risk. And when she lets go of that basket with such precious cargo inside, she is trusting that God would take care of Moses. Jochebed shows this amazing sacrificial love for Moses. She gives away something which she loves so much, trusting that God would care. And I wonder if, when Jochebed let go of this basket, if she sort of turned away, not really wanting to watch, in case something bad happened to her son that she didn't want to see. But it's okay, because Moses doesn't go unwatched, because I keep getting Moses and Pharaoh confused. Moses' sister is keeping watch, keeping an eye on her brother going down the river. And she sees this basket floating towards where Pharaoh's daughter is bathing. And you think, that must be a scary thing, right? You know, you've just seen the basket float to literally the one place you didn't want it to go, right? The one place you didn't want Moses to go. So she probably watched through her hands, scared of what she was going to see. And Pharaoh's daughter opens the basket and she sees this baby crying. And she feels sorry for him. It's a bit like, imagine you're walking down the road and you hear this whimpering noise and you look down and then this little abandoned puppy, sad times, a little abandoned puppy on the side of the street, and you look down at it and, you know, even if you're not a dog person, I imagine you probably feel a little bit sorry for it. You feel a bit sad that this dog had been left in this position. Except in this story, it's actually a whole lot more complicated than that. It's not just that she feels sorry for it, but Pharaoh had ordered the Egyptians to kill. Pharaoh, being Pharaoh's daughter's dad, obviously, had ordered that these babies should be killed. So she was faced with this dilemma. You know, she should obey her father's orders and hand this baby in to be killed. But instead, she's filled with this great love for this helpless baby. And because of this great love that fills her heart, Pharaoh's daughter doesn't hand Moses over to be killed. But what could she do? What could she do? I mean, she couldn't exactly nurse this baby herself. And if she was discovered, the baby would probably instantly be killed. It wouldn't have been good. But do you remember Miriam, Moses' sister? Do you remember her keeping watch? Well, she goes over to Pharaoh and she has this plan. She takes her mum, Jochebed, with her. And she offers to Pharaoh's daughter for Jochebed to look after the baby whilst he was growing up and nurse him for her. And Pharaoh's daughter says, yes, that would be amazing, please do that. I mean, what a relief for Jochebed that must have been. Her faith had been rewarded. God had indeed been looking after her baby boy floating down the Nile. So he gets taken back by his mum, and they are reunited. And then when Moses gets a little bit older, he has to go back to Pharaoh's daughter for his own safety. But Pharaoh's daughter takes him in as one of her own. He lives in the palace and is raised by Pharaoh's daughter. I mean, isn't it ironic that Moses ended up living in the one place where he should have been killed? Pharaoh became the granddad of the very person he didn't want to be around. God works in and through all of the women in this story in different ways. You know, each one acted as a mother in different ways because mothering is a verb of love. Mothering is a verb of love. Mothering means showing love and care for the people around us. And it reflects something of God's heart for his children. Jochebed shows love in the way that she sacrifices something she so deeply loves for the greater good, echoing how God sacrifices his own son so that we could have a relationship with him. Moses' sister, Miriam, loves her brother by watching over him as he floats down the Nile and creating this plan to bring him back to his mum. And this sort of reflects something of how God protects and guides his children today, doesn't he? He protects and guides us. And then finally, Pharaoh's daughter shows love to Moses by taking him in as her own, despite the fact that really she shouldn't have loved him. And that reflects how God pours out his love on you and me. He takes us in as his own, and despite all the wrong that we've done, he takes us in as his own. So through the love of each of these brave and faithful women, God shows us his love, displayed in Jesus Christ, who died on the cross. We're going to be remembering this especially in a couple of weeks' time at Easter. God showed his love through Jesus, who died on the cross, taking us in, and through his death and resurrection, brings us to new life in God. Isn't that amazing? Now, I've got two challenges for us this morning. Two challenges. The first of which is to think about how we could show this kind of love to other people. We look at the story and see how each of these mothers showed love. The challenge is, how can we do this? Maybe that looks like standing up for a friend who's in a difficult situation. Maybe that means helping out with something at church. Maybe that means teaching people around you about how much God loves them. God invites all of us to love one another as he first loved us. So whether you're a mum, a sister, a wife, a friend, or simply a woman who cares, I would really greatly encourage you to think, how could you be part of God's plan of loving his people? And then our second challenge, this is where I'm going to invite George and Julia up to explain more in just a moment. Our second challenge is to be thankful for all these women. Think back to the beginning, all those women that you mentioned, the women who care in your life. And we're going to give a moment in a minute to show our thankfulness to those women. But have those people in your mind. I'm going to invite these two up.